Good morning, Knicks Nation. How y'all doing out here? Good morning, Original D.O. Grand Rise to you, Malik Shabazz, my brother. Dre, what's up? Bernadette Lumley, how you doing, Miss Lumley? And Aaron Spalding, what's up? And Jose Loco, Crazy Jose, what's up? Jay Vendimio, Alfonso, my brother, hermano. James Gant, my brother Lonnie, of course, 45. Kendall Buchanan, what's up? Hope all y'all enjoying your weekend so far and that everything is safe and healthy. All right. So I looked at Friday's game last night, right? And you know what happened? I'm going to tell you, this is why you got to actually sometimes just watch the game, because I looked at the stats first. So I knew the Knicks won the game before I looked at it. And I looked at the stats, and I'm looking at JB in the first half, 22 points. And I'm like, damn, he's shooting too much again, right? I said, damn, he ain't paying. And I looked at Cat, 0 points. And I'm like, okay, here we go again, right? And the thing is that in my thought process, I thought, well, there, great, Shalom, superstar. What's up, Jay David? I was like, Ron Cohen, I see you. John Pettit, what's up? Yashaya, what's up? Only DM Dawson. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is not, all this is going to do is enforce bad habits. That's what I thought. I hadn't seen the game yet. Then I looked at the game and I was wrong. I misjudged the stats because I'm watching the game. And yes, Brunson is scoring, but most of his points were assisted. What does that tell you? When you see a guy and he's scoring a lot and he's getting the ball and scoring off an assist, that means he's not just dribbling the air out of the ball. He's passing it and he's playing off ball and he's hitting his shots that he's getting. His energy looked excellent, by the way. JB's energy. Now, a couple of times during the course of the game, he did ruin a couple of possessions. I saw it. He would try to fight the pressure, come up the court, and even and unfortunately, I don't know how to do it, but when I record the games, I always get the opponent's broadcasters. I don't get the Knicks broadcasters. So the opponent is like, well, see, they play good defense on Brunson because he's starting the offense with 11 seconds left on the clock. And I said, see, that's because he didn't pass the ball. So a couple of times he did caught up in that. But this is what overall, though, he was scoring off ball and he was getting the ball in the right spots. And then what happened, I knew watching the game, that's Doc Rivers. I said, say what you want about Doc Rivers. He makes adjustments. So I was like, okay. And I heard the announcer saying, damn, he scored 25. He might get a 50 piece on us. We got to stop him. And I said, okay, Doc is going to make adjustments in the second half to make sure they got Brunson covered. And so Brunson only scored 2 points in the second half. I think he finished with 27. He scored like 2 points in the second half. And that's when everybody else was going off. And then again, look at this here. They had 33 assists, right? I think it was 33 assists they had. Let me just make sure I'm right. I'm not lying to you. They had 33 assists. Brunson only had 3. And so you might say, well, he's supposed to be the point guard. No, he was playing off ball. And that means that everybody else was involved with the ball movement. So while Brunson had 3 assists, the rest of the team had 30. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. That's right, Lon. That's what you want to see. Clint Stewart, what's up? And Coach Hauser, how you doing? And Mark Martin, what's up? And so Sevilla Jorgensen, what's up? And BQE, Bronx Queens Expressway, what's up? And yeah, so I was like, wow, that was how you want them to play. Now, the big thing to me from that game, takeaway, aside from what we're talking about in terms of how the team basically stuck to the template. And Cat, they started feeding Cat the ball second half. He started getting the rock. Again, he wasn't forcing anything. He was rebounding the ball nicely. It was all good, man. But and if you notice, to me also, Mitch Rob didn't score. Mitch Rob was on the nut, but he was plus 10, which tells you he didn't have a tremendous amount of rebounds either. But the defensive presence, which is what you want from Mitchell Robinson. Defensive presence is what you want. Dre Nix, what's up? Flatbush, what's up? R. Vance, Guilford McCormick, my brother Richard Baptiste, how y'all doing? And then, of course, it was only a matter of time until OG got his shot back. Okay, it's only a matter of time, and it came out against the Bucks. See, so then he had, I don't know, 4 or 5 threes. He was going nuts. So that was only a matter of time. And then when you get grown ass man energy on top of them playing right, the Knicks are hard to beat. Okay, and also remember, when you go into the playoffs, it's a 7-game series, and there's no back-to-backs. So you can adjust. If you're off, you can make adjustments, and you can do what you need to do, and you get to look at that one team for 7 games. Okay, so yeah, exactly. My wife does the same thing, but she know I'll be going crazy in the game, so she can't talk to me during the game. But I'm watching that, and I was like, damn, look at JB going off ball and catching the ball and hitting his shot in his spots. That's what you want to see. Okay, but the big thing was our boy Mo Diawara. Mo D. Look, I love Sohan game. Okay, Sohan's a defensive player, right? But look, and I believed the Knicks went and got Sohan. Kumo D, right? The Knicks went and got Sohan to be that 9th dude, that 8th dude in the rotation. Kumo D said, "Oh, I know what y'all was planning, but forget it. Forget it." I mean, look, unfortunately for Sohan, Kumo D is in a groove. Not only is he in a groove, like he's fitting like a glove in the rotation. You can't, right? I mean, he's fitting like a glove in the rotation. That's the thing. How this is like what Tim used to always say. It's not the guy, except it's how the guy fits in the unit with the team. And Kumo D, I mean, defensively, we know you could throw him at just about anybody on the floor. 6'9" with a 7+ wingspan, you could throw him just about anybody on the floor. From a point guard to a center, he could guard all of them. He's only a rookie, man. And then I remember somebody was talking about, well, he needs to work on his handle. I said, y'all don't know what the hell you talking about. You see that boy he was doing Earl of Pearl spins on people? Did you see that? I was like, damn, he went into the lane, did an Earl of Pearl on somebody. And then, you all seeing him, he's shooting 40% from 3 now. 40%. He's a rookie. Talking about, see, look, we talk about how it takes rookies time to get used to the speed of the game. Very rarely will you see a 20-year-old that looks like this guy that's already he got the speed of the game down pat. Like what I do when I'm watching the Knicks, I'm watching defense, and I'm watching Brunson and Cat, because they are 2 weak links. And Cleveland kept trying to go at Brunson during the game, and Cat was just lost a couple of times on defense, just completely lost. Kumo D is never lost. See, if you remember Kevin Knox, Kevin Knox was lost on D his whole time in New York. I was hoping that he would, he's a young boy, he would develop, really and truly. We all understand now Kevin Knox should have stayed at Kentucky 2 more seasons. He should have stayed at Kentucky 2 more seasons, right? It wasn't his fault. He wanted to get that money. He wanted to get that money, but he came out this freshman year, and even Calipari said he wasn't ready. But and it was manifest on defense. He was getting turned around constantly on defense. And, okay, rookies got to go through that. Okay, it took Kev a minute. Even now he's struggling to stay in the league. Right now. I hate you, Coach Hauser, but no, it's more than that. He really was lost on defense a lot. Stepped behind, lost on the game. But look, you don't never see Kumo D in bad position on defense. This is rare. To me, that's rare. That's what I loved about Frank Nitti. I'm disappointed in Frank Nitti that he became chairman of the growing department, in Anthony Ambulance University. That's what I was. I was never concerned about Frank Nitty's game, though. In terms of defense, he was never out of position. Okay, but Kumo D ain't Frank Nitti. He ain't going in the growing department of ambient anti. I think Frank Nitti, handsome young man, was probably out there in New York doing his thing and messed his groin up. Because every time homie got a chance to play, he was always hurt. But Kumo D got that same defense, except he's hitting 40% from three. The thing is, he's playing, listen, bottom line, if you're a real Knicks fan, right? I know people hate when I say that because now all of us believe the same thing. Out of here. Look, you want to win. Did I lie? If you're a real Knicks fan, the bottom line is you want to win. Now, if you're watching the game, Kumo D fits better in a winning unit than Sohan. And I'm not saying Sohan don't play well. I'm saying Sohan ain't going to get a chance because Kumo D is shutting the door. I mean, he just is. He just shutting the door. You can't take him out. Listen, yesterday, I'm watching them this is like the third quarter when they were really blowing this thing open in the third quarter. It was Kumo D was on the floor with Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet and Jose Alvarado and Jalen Brunson. That was the crew that was on the floor. It was Diawara, Mitch Rob, Landry Shamet, Jalen Brunson, and Alvarado. And they were killing Milwaukee. They was killing them. And they was getting stops. 3 stops, boom, 3 stops, boom, 3 stops, boom. All of a sudden there's a 20-point lead. I was like, damn. See, so when you are talking about wanting to win, you got to go with what's causing you to win. And I had to admit, I'm sorry, Mr. Sohan. I'm sorry they sent you all the way up here from San Antonio to sit on the pond behind Diawara. But Diawara then looked at you and said, okay, this ain't happening to me. Not on my watch. And listen, the biggest thing yesterday, it's Friday, the biggest thing, check this out. I haven't researched this yet. In fact, I should research it. Somebody research it. 22 minutes is what Diawara played Friday. 22 minutes. He played 22 minutes, almost 23 minutes. Am I lying if I said that's the most minutes he's played in the NBA game? Right? I don't think he got that many minutes in any other game. Even when he started. When he was starting, he would get like 8 minutes, 6 minutes, and then sit down, which I didn't understand, sitting down the rest of the game. But Friday, Diawara played 23 minutes. That's as much a function of his success as anything. And I hope Coach Brown don't mess around with homie's head and then all of a sudden play Sohan 23 minutes today. He might do that stupidness because you playing San Antonio, right? Yeah. When you're looking at the plus minus of Kumo D, he was plus 25. He was plus 25, man. Sohan was -3, but he only played 6. I'm talking about rotation. Was Diawara, Mitch Rob, Landry Shamet plus 20, Jose Alvarado plus 14. The bench was rocking. Cat plus 21, Brunson plus 15, Bridges plus 14, Josh plus 18, OG plus 20. They were rocking. That's right. Listen, Coach Hauser, right? Right? That's Mobb Deep. And listen, you know what drives me crazy? I absolutely can't stand the modern media. Y'all know I don't like them, right? The Knicks media makes me sick to my damn stomach. I can't take it. So they gonna report. This is what happened now. Deuce gives these dumbasses an interview. Y'all know Deuce, right? Deuce is, lunch bucket, grind, toughness, right? Deuce wants to be on the court right now, right? So they're going to catch Deuce at a weak moment. And they say, and what do you think Deuce is going to tell you? The process is too slow. What you think? Deuce wants to play yesterday. So they want, and I heard dumb asses come on. So it looks like Deuce is done for the season. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. He said, I hope to be back for the regular season. That's what he said. He said the process is slow. I expect Deuce to say that. What you think he's going to say? He wants to play yesterday. And let me tell you, what y'all think? Deuce, Alvarado, Shaman, Mitchell Robinson, Kumo D. What y'all think? You think we can handle some business in the playoffs? What? Richard Baptiste, you ain't joked yet. I had to change up my disclaimer though. Some asshole coming in talking about stop saying Cat's not getting the ball. Don't ever come on my channel and tell me what to stop saying, because that's your last day on my channel. You just made that declaration. That's your last day. We are not the channel that says please subscribe. I will get rid of your ass in a minute. Don't give a crap. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all know. Don't tell them you don't stop saying Cat don't get the ball enough. Man, you better get the hell off my channel quick. And he was gone quick. Gonna come in here telling me what to say. You must be out your goddamn mind, right? I mean, you're like, right? What the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, I had to add Cat to the disclaimer now. Because we got haters. You're never gonna win with Cat. Oh my God, man. He got the third rail treatment quick, Malik. You know he had to get it quick. I didn't even answer him. First, I did, but then I erased my own answer. I said, why am I wasting my time? Bye. So what the hell's wrong with you? Don't say that. Stop saying this. Stop saying what? Excuse yourself from my channel. Anyway, can you imagine that though? Deuce, Alvarado, Shannon, Kumo D, and Mitch Rob? What y'all think? Because really, legitimately, with that squad, right? You got 4 shooters, right? You got Mitch Rob and 4 shooters. And you know and I know, you cannot try to stop Mitch Rob from getting offensive rebounds with one guy. You understand? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna let some dumbass reporter come and talk about Deuce not gonna come and Deuce might be. Man, shut up. I'm just waiting for Deuce to come back. Get my boy back in that lineup. I think I'm telling y'all, watch. This is March 1st. I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. The equinox in the calendar is around the 21st of March. Okay. I'm looking for Deuce. Deuce gonna be chomping at the bit. 21st of March. That's 3 weeks from now. It's March 1st. Deuce gonna be chomping at the bit to get back on that flow. And let me tell you something. One thing about Brown, some things we ain't figured out with him yet. One thing I do know, he loves him some Deuce McBride. And for good reason. So listen, man. I'm hyped to get homie back. Hyped. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, please like and subscribe. Motherfucker, like and subscribe. If you down, you down. If you not, you not. I can't do nothing for you. I'm trying to say we want like-minded folks. To me, that's more important, right? Yeah, and I think people don't understand that because most channels be coming out like, please like and subscribe. This is for the fans. This is for y'all. I'm trying to do this for y'all. Hell no. I'm doing it for people that understand they like the Knicks. I'm not sure these intellectual asses trying to, I think he needs to work on this and we need more effort. Man, get the hell out of here with that Hoosiers garbage. This ain't high school. This is the league, man. Like, come on, baby. We need to work on it. So dumber, he coming to us. If I was coach, I'd have them working more on fundamentals. Fundamentals, he said. Right? Dude, you realize this is the league, right? You don't be telling no damn professional making 10 million a year how to work on some damn fundamentals. You tell people in high school work on fundamentals, right? You tell people in high school work on fundamentals. You do not talk to no damn pro about working on fundamentals. What they need to learn how to box out. Listen, man, I tried to explain to the numbnuts. You know, I tried to. This is the thing, y'all. In the league, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. The NBA has the most athletic, strongest, quickest, fastest human beings on any basketball league on planet Earth, right? Is that correct? They got the most athletic, the strongest, the fastest, the most physical players and athletic in the whole world, right? So now, like I like to look at Juju when I'm talking about this, because Juju is a perfect example of what I'm about to tell you about. So Juju is 6'8", 240 pounds of solid brick doo-doo house muscle, right? And Juju been bigger than most players, better than most players, faster than most players in his age group from the time he was probably 13 or 14, right? So Juju never had to use the fundamentals because he was always bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else. When he got to Kentucky with Calipari, right? When he gets to Kentucky with Calipari and Kenny, right? Then he realizes at that point, listen, you're going to be dealing with guys that's just as big, just as fast, just as strong as you. So you got to learn how to handle it on the technique level. So he learns that at Kentucky. Then he comes to the Lakers, and that's the first time I heard the term. I'm going to tell you, I made up grown-ass man with OG, but I didn't make up the term grown-ass man. The first time I heard the term grown-ass man was out of the mouth of one, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. And the question was to Kobe after a game, how do you think Julius Randle handled himself today? And Kobe said he handled himself like a grown-ass man. And I said, damn, oh yeah, I remember that. Okay, that's the truth. I said, oh, shoot. And the second time was this cat the Knicks had named Derek Williams, number 3 overall pick out of Arizona. And homie didn't really make it in the league, but he was bigger, stronger, faster, more. That's why he was number 3 overall pick. And when I seen him one night, he was playing for the Knicks and he caught a rebound, did a drop step, and I don't know who was there, but it wasn't going to help. He flushed it with 2 hands. And I said, damn, that's a grown-ass man move right there. Then all of a sudden we get OG, who from the beginning we know, even in Toronto, which is why I was calling for him to come to New York a year before it happened, because he was a grown-ass man. Okay? Right? See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You're right, John Pett. So the thing is, that grown-ass man energy. So Juju had that, but then he learned in Kentucky the fundamentals. Then he's in the league. He got the fundamentals. He's making his money. You don't have to tell Juju he got to learn how to shoot foul shots. He might have some nights where he misses and not, right? You don't have to tell Juju he got to learn how to box out. You don't have to take a whole practice and talk about fundamentals. This is the league, man. They playing for serious money up here. You know what I mean? When you playing for serious money, y'all remember it was $5 a man? That's when the blood came out. See, I was fortunate. When it was $5 a man, when I was playing, when I was a boy, nobody had no guns. It's probably more dangerous now because people be carrying gats. So you don't want to do that. Because somebody said, I ain't giving you my $5 and you got, oh, what you going to do? Right? But when they playing for money, it's serious. Serious. Exactly. That's right. And this stupid media made a big deal out of. They were trying to make fun of Iverson, but he was telling the damn truth. He said, "I'm supposed to be the franchise player. We talking about the playoffs, and you're talking about practice." And that's what he. And I love. He said, "Not a game. We talking about practice." Yes, that's what we talking about. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, yes, Kumo D is ready for the big stage. What y'all think? I think he is. I think Kumo D showed himself. He's been showing himself for a minute now. Okay, he was showing himself for a minute now. But Friday, Did y'all see the play where I don't know, he dribbled from one side of the court to the other, went down the lane and did the Earl Monroe. I call it the magic show. Some of y'all is too young to remember, but back in the day, there was a man named Cal Ramsey. Cal Ramsey was the voice of the Knicks. Cal Ramsey and the dude that like biting women that had the hairpiece. I forgot his name. But anyway, they was the voice of the Knicks. It was before Clyde and Mike Breen, way before. And when Earl of Pearl would go into his moves, Cal Ramsey would say, "Oh, it's time for the magic show." He said, "Oh, it's time for the magic show." And that's what Kumo D went into. He went into the magic show. He didn't hit the shot, but he got fouled. Marv Albert, right. Marv Albert, right. Dude with the hairpiece, like to bite women behind and all that. Yeah, they caught him with all that. And he has a couple of brothers. Marv Albert, there was another Albert. There were like three of them. One of them was doing games for Syracuse. And then there was Marv Albert doing the Knicks games. And then there was another one. There were three Alberts. But yeah, Marv was the one with the hairpiece and caught him biting some woman behind in a hotel or something like that. Y'all remember, right? But it was Kyle Ramsey would be the one, oh, he's going into the bag. He's going into the magic show. That's when you start seeing Earl doing all that spinning and mess, right? So, but that's what it reminded me of watching Kumo D. He was doing that spin. I was like, hey, he's doing the Earl of Pearl spin. And he be just as cool as a cucumber. See, I knew the boy was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to be this good this fast. I told y'all last summer, if there was somebody from the youngins that was going to break into the rotation, it was going to be Diawara, right? I told you because he plays NBA level defense already. I did not predict or expect that he could be shooting 40% from three right now. I did not see that coming. All the ball handling energy. I did not. That's right. Marv, Steve. There was another one. There were three of them, right, Kendall? Al, they Marv, Steve, and Al. Okay, that's right. One of them was doing the Syracuse game. One of them doing the Knicks games, and I don't know what the other one was doing. Yeah. So I thought he was going to be able to make the rotation possibly, but because we was in a chip year, right? Like we're in a chip year, it was going to be hard. But you can't deny what y'all said. Somebody said it. One of y'all said it. Cream rises to the top. It is what it is, right? Cream, right? There was a couple over the course of time. That's proven. Cream rises to the top. That was you, Coach? Because that was Mo Cheeks. Mo Cheeks came out of some small school in Texas. I think it was like West Texas State, right? Never heard of this dude. And at that time, they used to play. The rookies used to play in Portsmouth, Virginia. When they came out of school, they didn't have the combine the way they have it now. They had this Portsmouth, Virginia Summer League. And all of a sudden, they had this dude. I'm watching this dude. And I used to watch that Summer League. And I'm watching this dude. And he's locking everybody up. And he's handling the rock. I said, who is this guy? And then West Chester State, Mo Cheeks. I was like, who the hell? And he went to Philly. And he wasn't supposed to start. But he ended up starting. Because he was good. He was real good. And the cream rises to the top. The young boy that's out there in Denver, he was a rookie when they won the championship. The name looked like it's Braun, but it's pronounced Brown, right? Big, strong, strapping white boy. And he could ball. He was starting. He was coming off the bench when they won the chip, but he ends up starting. Why? Because why? Cream rises to the top. Well, here we are in New York. Muhammad Diawara has shown everybody, listen, you can't sit me. You got to keep me on the floor because I could lock down anybody and I'm hitting 40% from three and I don't turn the ball over and I know what I'm doing on defense. What you going to do? So it's going to be interesting to see what Brown does today because generally you want a guy like Sohan to play against his former team, right? You figure he's going to be playing inspired basketball against his former team, but you can't sit Kumo D right now. And you know what? Look, how long is the Spurs winning streak? The Spurs done won at least 10 in a row, right? I mean, right? They don't won at least 10 in a row. Probably more than that. They got a long winning streak going right now, right? Let me see now. They second in the West. They're only 2 games behind the Spurs. They definitely have won 11 straight. They've won 11 straight. Dude. You got to play Kumo D today. You want to win or don't you? I don't know. I'm just saying. Every game's important right now, right? Every game's important right now. So you got to play Kumo D. And look, the ball moves. See, there's certain guys when Alvarado's on, and if y'all know this, right? Who do Alvarado be looking for most of the time? I ain't got to even tell you. When Alvarado's on the floor, who does he be looking for? Like 90% of the time, he's not looking for Brunson. He does get Brunson. He defers. He's looking for Cat. Alvarado trying to find Cat. And you know what? You play street ball in New York, right? You get a dude that's like 6'8", 6'9", and you done picked him, right? He's on your team. So what you want him to do? You want him to post up somebody, you want to give him the ball, right? Because you want to stay on the floor, right? When you in the street and everybody, you got 10 dudes saying, I got next, I got next, I got next. You want to stay on the floor, right? So you got to feed the big man. Alvarado playing that street game, man. He's like, listen, where Cat at? He said, where Cat at? He looking for Cat. Okay. Oh yeah, man. He said, where Cat at? He'll defer to Brunson, like he does that. But he's looking, when he got the ball, he's looking for Cat. And Cat knows it. Cat knows it. He's looking for Cat. Cat get all excited when he see Alvarado. Yo. Man, this is going to be a good game today. This is going to be a good game today. Now, listen, y'all know, I ain't got to tell y'all. See, that's what I'm saying. I done got rid of enough knuckleheads off my team that I got a crew with y'all that I can stick with. We can sit here and talk real Knicks basketball because I got the crew. It took me a couple of years. And every once in a while, dumbass sneaks in. But y'all know what we talking about. So today, Brunson got to be off ball, right? And they were doing it beautifully against Milwaukee. He was running through 2 screen, 3 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen until he got the ball where he needed to get it, and he was being efficient. Brunson's energy was there. See what I'm saying? I can't predict when the energy is going to be there and when it's not. I don't think anybody can. You can say, well, they just had 2 days off. Sometimes they still drag it, or it's a back-to-back and they killing. Now, Milwaukee had won 3 straight, I think. But they was coming off a back-to-back. See, the Knicks was catching them. See, everybody has to go through their crap, man. It's not just the Knicks. Everybody act like it's only the Knicks that do it. Everybody deals with it. So they were coming off a back-to-back. Okay, and the Knicks caught him. And Brunson had that energy. He had the pop in his legs. He had pop in his legs. He had the bounce there. He hit the ball from the same daggone spot inside the top of the key, if you notice, about 3 or 4 times. Always off a pass. Catches it, gets to that spot, boom. And man, I was like, damn, that's what we want to see, baby. That's it. That's it. Now, when he dribbled the hell out the ball that a couple of times, I was like, come on, baby. Come on. Get back on point now. Get back on point. And he did. He did. Man. Oh, yeah. Castle is tough. Castle is the real deal. Okay, Castle's the real deal. You know Stephen Castle can ball. And of course, y'all know I was all in from Florida State on our boy there. I was all in on Vassell, all in. I knew that cat was going to be a problem. And so, you know, look, they're good, man. Listen, their whole starting 5, the vibe is tight. Okay, so you got Victor, you got Champagne, who him and his twin brother, they Nick killers, both of them. Then you got Vassell, you got Castle, and of course, don't sleep on De'Aaron Fox. Then you got Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson out of Kentucky, Harrison Barnes, Luke Cornett, and Kelly Olynyk, and then you got some guy named Carter Bryant. He must be good to be cracking the rotation. So it is what it is. Yeah, what's up, Logic, sir? What's up? Yeah, so Anna Grill, I just seen you. Question 1, I think I got Richard Baptiste. I ain't missed nobody. Anthony Desiri, what's up? Desiri. I hope I'm messing your name up. Freaking Cornet. Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, I don't think they sleeping on Fox. Fox is surrounded by a team. That's what I'm saying. You can't sleep on De'Aaron Fox now, but damn, Stephen Castle's the real deal. Devin Vassell's the real deal. Julian Champagne's the real deal. That's why they have won 40-something games already. That's why they only 2 games behind Oklahoma City. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you've noticed it, but they kryptonite to Oklahoma City. right? Now, what y'all think? I think the Spurs are Oklahoma City will run over most teams. That's why they're the champs. But a healthy Victor with that team, I think they got Oklahoma City's number. I think they got Oklahoma City's number. I think they do. Sometimes it's like boxing in that a fighter could look unbeatable until he gets the wrong matchup. Like Tyson looked like nobody could beat him until he ran into Evander Holyfield. I didn't give Holyfield a shot, but Holyfield had the style to beat Tyson, and Tyson could do nothing with him. Okay? Tyson could do nothing with him. It's a style thing. And that's, to me, Shakur Stevenson, and I know that a lot of people don't like Mayweather. I think Mayweather and Stevenson is the best I've ever seen. And look, I'm not talking about when you talk about total man, you got to talk about Muhammad Ali. When you talk about straight boxing, though, you got to be talking about Muhammad, Sugar Ray Robinson. Not Leonard. Leonard was bad too, but Robinson. And then you're talking about why. Why am I bringing that up? Because the ability of both Mayweather and Shakur Stevenson to use the early rounds to figure out their opponent, to figure them out and then counter them properly, that's an ability right there. So it's a matchup situation. So right now, Oklahoma City got the team to just run on everybody, except they have a problem with San Antonio. They have a problem with it. Yeah, Bud. Let me not forget Bud. That's right. Bud is like that too. I got to give Bud that. Bud, to me, Bud, Mayweather, Shakur, them are the top dogs, man. Top dogs. Now, Ali, as far as heavyweights, top dog, I think Tyson could have been if he wasn't messing around so much with all them women and all that he was doing. I think just if he focused on boxing, he could have been same thing, and he was. But I got to give it to those cats. As far as heavyweight, though, they took away Muhammad Ali's best 3 years. They took it away. Jack Johnson, my wife and I were just watching the documentary on Jack Johnson yesterday. And Jack Johnson, that's his name? Anyway, first black heavyweight champion, right? When they tried to stop him in the United States, he went overseas. He spent years fighting in Europe, okay? And was about to get a giant payday in Russia when World War I broke out, okay? But see, with Muhammad Ali, he was going to go overseas too. But they learned from Jack Johnson. What they do? They took away his passport. See, your passport is your permission to go outside the United States. So they stripped him of his title. They didn't give him a license to fight in the United States, and they took his passport. So they basically shut him down. And his best years was right there. Right before that, nobody could even touch him. Nobody could even touch him. Heavyweight, 220 pounds of greased lightning, and could hit you with a hammer. He knocked people up back. There was a dude, I forgot the dude's name, wouldn't call him Muhammad Ali, kept calling him Clay. And he was backpedaling and about to knock that boy out. Backpedaling. Ali was that man. He really was. But you never saw it because they took away his best years. Man. But Tyson, before he started really getting all into the fame and he could box now. He was a defensive master. He would be right up on you with that peekaboo, and you couldn't hit him. And then of course, when he let loose on you with them, honestly, the greatest punchers were not dudes that are built like Tyson. When you have that kind of muscle on you, it's hard to carry that muscle for 12 rounds, 15 rounds. You got to carry that muscle. And so that's why, like George Foreman, that's why Ali was able to beat him. Foreman was a big, strong dude. He could knock you out with a jab, but Ali knew he had to carry that for 15 rounds. Okay. And so Ali was dancing. Ali was rope-a-doping him. And by the time you get to the 8th round, homie was all wore out. That's what happens with muscular dudes. They look intimidating. Like if you got to deal with them in the prison, you got a problem because you ain't going no 15 rounds in prison, right? But in a boxing match, you got to go 15 rounds, 12 rounds. So you can't carry that. So most of the harder hitting dudes were skinnier that could carry that muscle, right? and most of them in the lighter weight classes. Y'all mentioned Roy Jones Jr. That's a guy right there. That's a guy, probably Roy Jones, I got to say, the most athletic boxer I've ever seen. Athlete, Roy Jones Jr. Sonny Liston was like a lot like Foreman. I don't think it was coincidence. 1964 Liston, 1974 Foreman. Ali should have retired after Foreman, but they were very similar. Knock you out in first 2 or 3 rounds, right? That was Liston. Okay, Ali knocked him out in the 8th round and knocked Foreman out in the 8th round. Isn't that something? It was something else, man. So yeah. So but Sugar Ray, again, them lighter weight classes, but Shakur, Mayweather, Bud, you can't give it to them cats, man. M. Drake, what's up? Lucas Eureka, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so you gotta give it to him. But basketball is similar. It's a game of styles. It's a game of styles, man. It's a game of matchups. Okay, it's a game of matchups and styles, man. People thought that Patrick Ewing and Georgetown was going to roll all over everybody till they ran into Louis Massimino and Villanova. The matchup didn't work for them. You understand? That's right. So styles make a fight. Tommy Hearns was not the right style to try to deal with Marvin Hagler. It just wasn't the right style. Made Mr. Hagler pretty upset, and it seems like Mr. Hagler took that personally. Indeed. So Spurs are not the right style for Oklahoma City. If they meet, I'm going to favor the Spurs. If it's a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals, I'm going to have to favor the Spurs in that, because I think they match up very, very well against Oklahoma City. They match up very, very well. And I wouldn't have been able to guess that, honestly. I wouldn't have been able to guess that, because if you look at the roster, right, Oklahoma City's deep. They 10 deep for real. Now, San Antonio is pretty deep too, but you wouldn't think Luke Cornett could match up with Hartenstein, but he does, right? But he does. So yeah, it is what it is, So now the Knicks match up well with Boston, and Boston knows it. I would still like to see the Knicks take that 2nd seed, because then we don't have to deal with Detroit until conference finals. But the Knicks do match up well, especially in the playoff series with Boston. And I'm going to tell you something else. If Tatum was to come back before the end of this season, I don't think it's going to help Boston. I think it will make Boston worse. I'm going to tell you, I think it would. You know why? Why would I say that? When Tatum comes back, they would automatically try to tailor everything around Tatum. The success Boston has had this year, because everything's tailored around Jaylen Brown. If you're going to ask Brown to take a back seat suddenly when he's been leading your team the whole year, that's going to mess up their whole flow. It's going to mess up their whole flow. Tatum should sit out, wait the summer, come back to training camp stronger, and then be ready to go. If he tries to come back too soon, I think it's going to mess them up. I really do. I would sit, if I was Boston, if I was them, I was like, listen, man, sit, come back in training camp, come back ready to go. They've been flowing unexpectedly strong. I would not expect, to me, Joe Mazzulla is the coach of the year. I got to give it to him, because I did not expect them to be top 5. I thought they were going to be fighting for a play-in spot without Tatum. And then they let Porzingis go, they let Giroux go, and I was like, nah, they're going to be battling for a play-in spot. And then Al Horford, I said, nah, but look at them, 2nd in the East, okay? Mazzulla, I got to give Mazzulla that coach of the year. To me, if you dealing with somebody, there's other candidates. I ain't going to say there ain't no other candidates, but come on, baby. Ain't nobody surprised you like the Boston Celtics did. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah, but Brown is a little further advanced right now. You talking somebody comparing Cade to Brown. Cade is still in the youth stage. Brown is like a grown ass man. Brown's like in his prime, right? He's like 27. Am I not correct? He's like in his prime. So you can't really compare them. Brown is 29. He's in his prime. He's in the thick of his prime. I don't think Cade is in the thick of his prime right now. Yeah, Brown's in the thick of his prime, man. Cade is already that dude, But mess around with Cade next year. Cade right now, Cade is 24, man. Cade is 24, baby. You don't want to see him when he's 26. You don't. You don't want to see him. He understands the mental aspect of the game. He understands the strategic aspect of the game. He understands the execution part of the game. He cannot be stopped in the key. He plays all NBA level defense. You don't want to mess with K. You just don't want to see him. You don't want to see him, man. I'm trying to tell you. I knew that boy was going to be that man coming out of Oklahoma State. And here he is. So he's a problem, man. He's a problem. He really is. He's going to be worse too. That's what I'm saying. Detroit is going to be a continual thorn in our behind. They really are. They're going to be a continual thorn in our behind, because the Cade is the dude. It's like SGA. SGA is that dude, but then you mess around and put a team around him. Shoot. SGA got Dort, he got J Will, J Dub, he got all of them, man. He got Holmgren. You mess around and put a team around him. Damn, Jay Sniper, you couldn't help in 1968, even if and I didn't know nothing about basketball, you couldn't help but be a Knicks fan. It was in the air. You couldn't help it. I remember the Mets winning the World Series. I was watching that last game with my daddy. My father, everybody was going nuts. The Mets won the World Series. And the Broadway Joe and the Knicks and the Jets won the Super Bowl. And look, at that time, I don't know if they do it now, but at that time, the Jets was a Long Island team, and they did their practices at Hofstra University. And so Long Island was the Jets, Long Island was the Mets, and then you had the Knicks. And so all of us that was in the neighborhood, all of us knew who Wallace Reed was. We knew who Walt Frazier was. Everybody knew. Okay, so you had to become a fan because they was the champs. You had to. Okay, you had to become a fan because they was the champs. Now, I was legitimately always a fan of the Mets. I'll be watching the Mets lose most of their games, and I still be watching. Me and my boys be calling up, they lost because Bud Harrelson fumbled the ball. They lost. Seaver didn't get the guy out, whatever, But we all became fans of Mets, Jets, and Knicks, all of us. Now, I always favored the Giants, even then. I was proud because the Jets was Long Island, but my favorite player was Fran Tarkenton, and he played for the Giants at that time. Before he went to Minnesota, he played for the Giants. And then you have Tucker Fredrickson. I remember them. They was losing all the time. And so my father used to laugh at me, you and them Giants, and I stuck with it until Parcells came. And that changed everything. And then they went and got this crazy boy out of North Carolina named Lawrence Taylor. And I remember that summer I was hearing so much about this Lawrence Taylor. I thought he was an offensive player and he was a defensive player. And then I saw him play and I knew he was on our way. I knew he was on our way. That first year, they only won 4 games. They were 4-12. Taylor's rookie year. That was it. Turn around after that. Okay. But yeah, you couldn't help but be a fan of the Mets, the Knicks, the Jets. You couldn't help it because they were winning. Okay. And even when they didn't win, the Knicks was in the running. That one year, the Mets wasn't in the running again until 73. After the Mets won they championship, I think they beat Baltimore, and then Baltimore was still going to be in the running. Then came the Cincinnati Reds. Y'all remember the Big Red Machine, and then they had the dominant team was the Oakland A's, though. The Oakland A's was the dominant team. They won like 3 or 4 chips in a row. And then the next time the Mets was in the series was 73, and they lost to Oakland, But so I was just like, man, so that's when I became a Knicks fan, and I loved the Knicks. And then when I became conscious of the team, I followed them. But then there was 2 years I was so angry at the Knicks. I tell you, I became a Celtics fan. I was so mad. And you know what made me that mad? They let Clyde Frazier go to Cleveland. I almost never forgave him for that. I said, how can you let Clyde Frazier go to Cleveland? Cleveland! My friends was like, what? I said, man, I'm following the Celtics. They said, why you following this? Man, they let Clyde go. What's wrong with y'all? I ain't, man, please. They let Clyde Frazier go. It would make me sick just watching him in a Cleveland uniform. It was making me sick. See, I was a young boy there, so I was immature. But I think, I don't know if they traded him, Jay, but I do remember he was asking for $750,000 a year, which at that time was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, but I'm saying it was a lot of money then. So he was asking for $750K, and they didn't want to pay him, which I was like, why not? And that's when he went to Cleveland. I don't know if they traded him or he signed there, but he was only there like a year. Then he came back to New York, or either he came back or retired and came back. But I was like, I was mad as hell, man. I started following Hondo, and that's when I got into Havlicek. That's why I say McCall reminds me of Havlicek. I started getting into Havlicek and JoJo White. And then they lost me when they drafted Danny Ainge, who I could not stand from the time he was in Brigham Young. I was like, I don't like this white boy. And they drafted him, and they let JoJo White go, who was one of my favorite Celtics. I was like, you let JoJo White go, I'm going back to the Knicks. So, yep, that's how it worked. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, it was just, you couldn't tell nobody from New York nothing when Jets, especially you from Long Island. And if you recall, the Islanders was winning like 4 or 5 championships in a row. I wasn't even a hockey fan, but all the white boys in school was talking about the Islanders and trying to get Islanders tickets. And then some of the brothers, because they was winning all them championships. Danny Potvin and them, they was winning all them championships, man. It used to be the Philadelphia Flyers until the Islanders come. You couldn't tell nobody from Long Island nothing. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't tell nobody from nothing. You from Hempstead or Roosevelt, you couldn't tell nobody nothing, man. You couldn't tell nobody nothing. And it looked arrogant to the people outside of New York, and it probably was. That's why you had New York hate started coming up. New York hate because Islanders, Mets, Jets, then came the Giants, then of course there was the Knicks. Yeah, I was mad when they traded Ewing too. I was mad as hell. I couldn't believe they traded, and I couldn't. They brought that boy in from Utah to run the team. I forgot that full name. And I was like, okay, hopefully he knows what he's doing. Then he trades Ewing. I was like, wait, what? I'm not saying Ewing should have started, but damn, he's a legend. You got to let him retire as a Knick. Yeah, the Islanders was bad news, baby. They was bad news. Then came Gretzky and them in Edmonton. Then came Gretzky and them. It was the Islanders. Then came Gretzky and them, and the Oilers started winning chips. But first it was the Islanders. Danny Potvin, I remember him. There was a couple of guys. Greshner. No, Greshner was on the Rangers, but there's a couple of dudes, man. That's when. So 68, 69 is when I started really becoming a basketball fan of the Knicks. But you couldn't help it. Everybody in New York was a Knicks fan. Everybody was a Knicks fan, man. So yeah. So is what it is. I can see, yeah, exactly. For Glenn Rice, and I'm like, Glenn Rice was past his prime. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough time to be a Knicks fan. I was still sticking with him though, but it was tough. It was tough to be a Knicks fan. But I think Clyde hurt me more because they won a championship. They won 2 chips with Clyde, and he was the major player on those championship teams. Ewing was a warrior, right? He really was. And it was the Knicks' fault he didn't win no championship because they should have paired him up with somebody like the way Chicago paired up Pippen with Jordan. They was looking for a sidekick. Took them 7 years to find Pippen, and then when they did, chips started coming. The Knicks didn't do that. They thought they had it, and I thought they had it with Mark Jackson. And then they let Mark Jackson go twice. I was like, why y'all let Mark Jackson? Well, anyway, yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I saw Leon Rose start working and people were whining, I said, some of y'all some snotty-nosed kids don't know what the hell you talking about because I've been around too long to see what this work this dude is doing, man. Shoot. Yeah, man. So, yeah, Mike Bossy, that's right. Trottier. Thank you, son. Trottier. Top Van. Bossy, that's right. That's what we talking about. That now you bring him back. Remember, that's it. They was dominant. How many they win in a row? Was it 4 or 5? They won at least 4 in a row, right? There was some bad news, man. Them cats was bad news. 4 with 4? Okay. And then I knew that the last chip they won was against Gretzky and them. And Gretzky was coming. You could see he was coming. It was that team was coming, man. So, yeah, that team. The magical year though was '94. 94 was that magical year. The Rangers, they got the guy that used to be, what's the guy? He used to be with Gretzky. He came to New York and they won a chip. What was that cat's name? And they had, remember that call, Matto, Messier, yeah, Messier, Matto and them. That's when they won the chip, 94. Yeah. Mark Messier, yep. That was magic, man. That was magic year, man. That was magic year. So you were very fortunate in the tri-state area. You got Rangers won chip, and then for a couple of years the New Jersey Devils, they was winning chips too. So that, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, Ewing, they never gave Ewing the sidekick though. It took the Bulls 7 years. Jordan was in his 7th year when they got Pippen. Okay, so it wasn't like they got him right away. I am agreeing with Big Man on this one. Big Man said that he's already one of the greatest Knicks ever. The Knicks win the chip. There's no doubt. Brunson gonna get his jersey retired. He's gonna be Clyde level. They win a chip. Brunson's gonna be Clyde Frazier level. No doubt. No doubt. They're gonna retire his jersey the whole nine. Okay. No doubt. No doubt. Yep. And then we were spoiled, and I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm always an underdog. That's why I like the Mets. But you got to say the Yankees with Derek Jeter and them, they was winning World Series in late 90s, right? They was winning World Series too. So there you go. Well, Bernard King, like at that time, nobody knew Bernard King was going to be able to make it all the way back. At that time, when you got an ACL, your career was done. See, it wasn't like it is now. Now ACL, it stopped you for a season and you could come back. But back at that time, the type of injury that Bernard King had, it was very unlikely he was going to be able to come back and play the way he did it with the Washington team when he came back. So it was a smart move to let him walk at that time. But they could have kept Mark Jackson to pair with Ewing and added around them. I don't know what happened with Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was having problems with the management. The Knicks management left a lot to be desired, but it is what it was. Yeah. I mean, at the time, my heart sunk that play. I saw the game. They were playing Kansas City Omaha King, and it was just a typical, dog days type of game. And he's rushing to try to block somebody's shot. See, he played both sides and hurt his knee on a weird play. It just landed wrong, man, and that was it. And everybody's like gasping, right? It was a terrible night. I'll never forget that. It was a terrible. I felt similar when we saw Juju hurt his shoulder. Remember, we saw Juju hurt his shoulder, and everybody in Tibbs, they said, "Yeah, you concerned?" He said, "Very," because that was the season right there. Juju hurt his shoulder like that. That's how I felt when BK got hurt like that. I was like, damn, man. I was like, damn, no, because at that time, there was like mid-'80s. Look, if you was around then, couldn't nobody do nothing with BK. Couldn't nobody do nothing with him. Even nobody. Like, he was dominant in the league. Dominant. I seen him beat Detroit in the playoffs with like 3 broken fingers. He had his fingers, they were broken. 3 broken fingers. He was killing. Then they brought it against Boston and them. Couldn't nobody do nothing with him, man. Couldn't nobody do nothing with him. When he dropped 50 and 60, couldn't nobody do nothing with him. Nothing. You knew what he was getting ready to do. That's when I started understanding when guys are really good in the league, you can know exactly what they're going to do. They could tell you, and you can't do nothing about it. Nothing. So that's when they started trying, because the league, what I love about, one of the many things I love about the league is you got to play man to man. That's why people was talking about Knicks should be playing zone. I said, man, that's punk, man. That's punking out. That's punking out. You playing zone, you punking out. You got to stick with your man. This is the league, baby. Play NBA defense. But what they was doing with BK, they had to get the ball out of his hands, because if he got the ball, you had a problem. And he only had basically 2 moves: turn around, jumper to his right, turn around, jumper to his left. There wasn't no crossover. Wasn't a whole bunch of dribbling. That's the difference between him and Carmelo. Carmelo dribbled the damn air out the ball. Hold the ball for 15 seconds of the shot clock or more. BK, he was either going to spin to his right, spin to his left, pull up jump shot, money. And there was nothing you could do about it. And then he run the floor like a damn gazelle and finish with two hands usually. He didn't finish with no damn layup. No, BK finished with a two-hand dunk on you. There was nothing you could do about it. Nothing you could do about it. Turn around to his right, turn around to his left, bucket. It was as automatic as Jabbar's skyhook. Am I lying, son, Brooklyn? It was as when Jabbar turned around to that skyhook, it was money. There was nothing you could do about it. When BK got that ball and he was going to spin left, spin right, whichever one, money. There was nothing you could do about it. He was. That's what I'm saying. So when he got hurt, it hurt my heart because not only was he unstoppable, he was making the Knicks a force, man. He was in his prime. I forgot. He was between, say, 27 and 30, something like that. He was in his prime. Yeah, it was in the regular season. It was just a regular season game. That time they had a team in Kansas. They call it the Kansas City Omaha Kings. That was the name of the team. Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska. And they ended up folding that team. There was hardly anybody. That night, the stands wasn't full. It was almost like a practice, like a scrimmage. I remember it was like a scrimmage. There was hardly anybody there. The Knicks were visiting Kansas City, Omaha. And I was like, damn, nothing game like this, man. Damn. So, yeah, it hurt me, man. I was like, damn, man. It really, my heart sunk, man. When it was like I said, the next time I really felt that was when Juju hurt his shoulder. That looked bad. And I was like, damn, that's bad. Everybody was quiet when Juju, it was like a pin drop at the Garden when Juju hurt his shoulder. Yeah, so. Yeah, the Kansas City Omaha Kings became the Sacramento Kings eventually, yeah. Yeah. Kansas City became Sacramento. They had a team, and it was hard for them to make money. And they had Tiny Archibald in his prime. And Tiny Archibald is the only player in history to lead the league in both assists and points. He averaged 34, 35 a game, and he averaged double digits in assists at the same time. And they were struggling, but Tiny Archibald was keeping the fans in the seats. Then Archibald went to Boston and won a chip with Boston. It was him and Charlie Scott. I don't know if y'all remember Charlie Scott. Charlie Scott was another bad man. Charlie Scott was in the ABA, though. And then Charlie Scott came to the NBA and played with Boston. And that's when they won the championship. Charlie Scott and Tiny formed the championship backcourt that they had. Yeah, we got Bill Cartwright as a rookie, but then they traded Bill Cartwright to get because they was trying to win the Twin Towers. It was terrible with Cartwright and Ewing. It was terrible. Cartwright was not a 4, and Ewing was not a 4, and it kind of clogged the court up, and it didn't work out. They weren't winning. And then they traded Cartwright and got Oakley from Chicago. They traded Cartwright and got Oakley, and that fit much better. Oakland was much better fit with Ewing than Cartwright was. Cartwright's a great player now, don't get me wrong. That team I think Cartwright and then won the chip at San Francisco was Cartwright, and they had these 3 other dudes, Quentin Daly. They had a bunch of dudes. Some of them became good pros, some of them didn't. Quentin Daly was the deal, but he just raped some girl, raped a nurse or something, and that messed his career up. But Quentin Daly could ball, and Cartwright could ball. They were at university. In fact, they got rid of the whole program after them guys left. Yeah, they got rid of the whole program. University of San Francisco. Yeah, because that's where Bill Russell went to school. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. That's the thing, though. And I'm just glad Juju was able to come back and play at a high level again. I was concerned about that. You see an injury like that, you're like, can he come back, But he did. He came back and played at a high level. Yeah. So anyway, here we are. This is where we at. And we got a squad now, y'all. Y'all know we got a team now. So we got a squad right now. Y'all should be very happy, very appreciative of what we have because of all of this crap. I'm just going over this history. And, we went through some crap. BK's injury, McDyess's injury, right? Trading Ewing, right? Trading Camby, that was a dumbass move too. Trading Camby was stupid. I know they was trying to get McDice. Obviously, that was a bad move. Then not giving Spreewell his money, letting him go to Minnesota. Should have kept Spree. Should have kept Spree. Some bad moves. Okay, bad moves. But then they went and got the Don. Everything changed. As long as we got the Don, I'm very confident in the continued sustainable winning at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, sustainable winning with the Don. That's what we got. And I'm gonna tell you, when this little iteration is over, if you still got Leon Rose, you're gonna get another iteration. He's just like he's on that level with our boy down there in Sam Presti. He's in that level with, the African brother that just had to leave Toronto, but he did the Melo deal, forgot his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. He's on that level. So Riley, yep, the Don is there. So that kind of guy with that kind of management, you're always going to be in it. Messiah Jerry, right? Messiah. So as long as we got the Don, I'm happy. We can get players, lose players, make trade, whatever. We got the Don. He knows the strategy. He knows how to get this done. Wait a minute. I think we got a third rail candidate, y'all. Y'all see him, right? We got a third rail candidate. He don't even know we talking about him. You don't even know. We got a third rail candidate, y'all. You see him? Third rail candidate? I see. Somebody talk to him. Somebody help. Help the poor boy. Help him out. You see it, Jay? Son, you see it. He don't even know. It's like you a Crip, right? And you just walked into a blood neighborhood wearing red. Wearing blue. You walked into a blood neighborhood wearing blue, and you a Crip. And you too stupid to realize you in a blood neighborhood. You understand? You too stupid to realize you're in a blood neighborhood and you a Crip. When you walk into this room and you're talking about trading Jalen Brunson, I don't know what you drank today. I didn't have my grape juice, but you got to be out your goddamn mind. You got to be. Right? You hear what I'm saying? You got to be out your mind. So for now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to get rid of him. I'm just going to get rid of the message that he sent, right? Remove the message. And then we'll give him another shot at it, right? We'll give him another shot. Okay? This ain't X. Don't think you can have one hand on your Johnson and one hand on your keyboard and you're high on some opioid and you're going to come in here talking this stupidness. It's not going to work well. Okay? It's just not going to work well. Okay? You can't be holding your Charles Dickens with one hand and your keyboard with the next and come in here with that. Yeah, you. Yes, you. You. You can't do that. Yeah, you can't have your hand on your Larry Johnson. Wait, who was that? Damn, Richard Baptiste. You can't have one hand on your Larry Johnson and then have your other hand on the keyboard and you high on some opioid or you done drink some Mad Dog 2020 or some sort of cheap mess and you coming in here tripping. Don't do that, man. Dang, don't do that. Oh, see, no. Knicks Nation, did I give this fool a chance or didn't I? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do it one more time here. I'm going to help you out one more time. I'm going to do it one more time because I need to explain something to you that I don't think you understand. My channel is not a democracy. There's no free speech in here. I want to make sure you understand it. You may not like it, but there's no free speech in here. You can't come in here and just run your damn mouth about anything you want to. You just can't do it. There's certain things that are off limits. You cannot talk about trading Jalen Brunson. Okay? You can't. You can't talk about negatively about Deuce or Mitchell Robinson or Cat. You can't do it in here. It's off limits. Like I said, doing that in here is like you are a Crip and you just walk into a blood neighborhood and you're wearing blue. You walk into a blood neighborhood wearing blue. That's what that's like. Okay, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying my best to help you. You see all the brothers calling for the third rail? That, you know what that means? You know the third rail in New York, when you touch the third rail, what happens? You would happen, just imagine you jump the turnstile. You're at 96th Street in Manhattan on the west side. You come down from Broadway, you jump the turnstile. Nobody arrested you, so you think you got over. You jumped the turnstile, saved yourself a chip, right? Then you went to the platform and you're leaning over a little bit too far. It's dangerous. You leaning over, and why? People are looking at you like, man, be careful, man. Why? Because if you fall on them tracks, you hit the third rail and you're dead. Oh, we got rid of her? Okay. Thank you, Jay Snipe. Thank you, Jay Snipe. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, I was trying to be patient with the boy. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. It's every once in a while you get some of these people that's on X, right? And they think. Oh, I hear you. No, he wasn't gone. Now he gone. He wasn't gone. Now he gone. I don't want to hear all I said was. That's the fake innocence that people that run their damn mouth too much like to come with. All I said was. Right, Anna Girl, you got it. That's exactly where I see it. Come with that fake, out both sides of your mouth, innocence. All I said was, this is what you said, and we told you to shut the hell up, but you didn't want to hear, so okay, boom, bye. Okay. Exactly, Lucas, exactly. Can't stand when they do that. All he did was, okay. All I did was hit a button. I love this platform for that. You just hit a button. It ain't like you got to deal with assholes if you don't want to, right? This is one girl, like I said, man, she had a channel, right? And she liked to talk about, she looked like an Italian girl, but she'd like to talk about the black side of her heritage, like her grandmother, somebody was passing for white. So she bring up that, and she be getting all this hate, and she's getting ready to shut down her channel. And I was like, why you shutting down? People give me death threats. All you got to do is hit delete. It ain't got to be on your channel. Hit delete. Yeah, anyway. I mean, John Pettit, let me ask y'all, how long have we been pining for a point guard in New York? Like, how long have we been pining for a point guard? How many years was it people were saying we need a point guard? I mean, right? Right? We need a point guard. Even, before we had Deuce, they were like, Deuce is not a point guard. We need a point guard. Deuce doesn't do any playmaking. Deuce is not a point guard. And they were pining for a point guard. Well, guess what we now have? We have a point guard. Not only is he a point guard, he's all NBA. Right? I mean, right? He's an all NBA point guard. He's the clutch player of the year in the NBA. And people talking about trading him. See? Yeah. So anyway, that's why. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, back to what we was talking about. Diawara. Kumo D needs to play 22 minutes or more today, right? What y'all think? Kumo D needs at least 20 minutes today. I know that boy might want to play Sohan a little bit. I ain't going to complain because I understand. But I want to see Kumo D out there for a good 20. Him with Mitchell Robinson, Alvarado, Shamit, and yes, the other game it was they had him out there with they had that crew out there with Brunson. Okay, Mitch is going to have a big game, but see, as we saw against Cleveland, Mitch had a big game against Cleveland. Okay, we lose the game though. So Mitch is going to have, Mitch had 16 boards against Cleveland. So, and he did not have before, I think 4 rebounds yesterday, but it was a big game anyway because of his defensive presence. Now, yes, we're going to need Mr. Mitch Rob out there against big old damn Wembanyama, no doubt. But, yep, you got to get a damn ball to cap. Let that ball move. Mr. Brunson, go off ball like he was doing Friday. Go off ball. Okay. I think, you know what I also think? Me, personally, I think we can expect grown-ass man energy today. What y'all think? I think we can expect grown-ass man energy today. Which means when grown-ass man is good, he's not only good offensively, he's good defensively all the time, but then he's hitting his threes. When grown-ass man is hitting his threes and playing his game, the Knicks are tough to beat. And I'd like to see it against a team like a San Antonio, because San Antonio is obviously a top 5 team in the league right now. Top 5, right? Maybe even top 3 in the league right now. So I want to see grown-ass man energy and how that affects the Knicks against a top-tier team like the San Antonio Spurs. That San Antonio coach got to give him props too. I mean, damn, I never even heard of fool. And all of a sudden, pops, sit, and all of a sudden they second in the West pushing for first, man. If they overtake Oklahoma City, there's going to be a problem, man. Shoot. Yeah, son, I'm with you. I mean, listen, they went and got, I think everybody understand, they went and got Sohan to be that forward in the second unit that can play the 5 as well. But Diawara done put the kibosh on that. He done put the kibosh on that, okay? And for Coach Brown to say Sohan is better, I understand the theory behind that. The theory is Sohan's bigger, stronger, been in the league longer. I felt the same way. But damn, Diawara, you can't sit that boy. You can't sit him, man. You can't sit him. No, Donnell, you good, man. You good, Donnell. You good. We got. I'm unfortunately we getting ready to sign off soon because it's 12:48 Eastern. We know the game starts at 1, and it's on ABC, which means tip off ain't gonna be till 1:15, right? Tip off's gonna be at 1:15, but I gotta get my juice game going. So I got some Zinfandel in there. I got a little Cabernet from Josh in there. We're gonna get that game going. Then later on, your boy's gonna hit the gym. My gym's in my house, so I can hit the gym right here later on. This is what happens when you retire. You could get the grape juice, you can enjoy the game, and then later on, you can hit the gym. Ain't nobody rushing. You got your thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Carlissimo. Carlissimo. Yeah. Carlissimo, no. He ain't nobody out there, daddy, no more. He realized he can't do that no more. Spreewell is my boy. Spreewell is the man, daggone it. Spreewell is the man. Oh, yes, retired Donnell is the way to go, baby. I mean, shoot. I got laid off. I wanted to go one more year. Just to stack up that paper a little bit more, right? But one day, one Friday, I messed around and told my boss I'm gonna retire at the end of the contract. And then they start laying people off, and my boss said, since you're going to retire anyway, you can go now. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go now. And we make it work. And we did. Yeah, when you retire, I don't want to get up too late because the day gets away from me. I like to get up. I try to get up by 7:30, 7:30, something like that. But then you take your time. There's no rush. When I do my workout, I'm not worried about going to work the next day. I'm only concerned with not getting myself hurt so I can work out the next day. But I do my workout, take my time and warm up. Take me a good 30 minutes just to warm up, fine. And then I get into my workout, man. You retire 57, man. Bless you, man. I'm 64. Gonna be 65 soon. Retire. I don't mind though. I still got it. I did hear that girl from McCormick. I did hear Brian Shaw tell the story. He told it funny too. It was funny, yo. And I knew that when I heard what happened. I said, Carlissimo come out of Seton Hall thinking he everybody's daddy. Sprewell wasn't having that. Sprewell wasn't having that. You ain't nobody's daddy up in the league, boy. What's wrong with you? This ain't Seton Hall. This ain't Seton Hall, son. This ain't Seton Hall. That's what they come with. My cousin was recruited by all the teams in the Big East and Indiana, and that's what my cousin was roughneck, but that's the damn Bobby Knight came, and my cousin lasted exactly half a semester. He lasted half a semester at Indiana. He was sneaking old English. He found old English, even in Indiana, was sneaking it in his room. And Bobby Knight was trying to play that daddy role. That wasn't going to work with a roughneck. You ain't going to play no daddy role with no roughneck, bro. You must be out your goddamn mind. So here come Carlissimo trying to play daddy role with Sprewell. Come on, baby. That's not going to work. Sprewell is from the Milwaukee. Some of the toughest hoods in the nation is in Milwaukee. Some of the toughest hoods in the nation. Tyler Hero come from Milwaukee. Halliburton come from Milwaukee. Sprewell come from Milwaukee. Some of the toughest hoods, you were talking about killers, that's gorillas. That's Milwaukee. So you can't come at them talking about you gonna be somebody's daddy. You must be out your goddamn mind, man. No, man, you can't do it. You can't do it. So he come out there trying to yell at Sprewell. he had that coming. So I hope he learned his lesson. So he's gonna try to come back with somebody's daddy, man. Yeah, man. Anyway, that's what it is, y'all. So, let's hope our Knicks come and play Knicks basketball today. JB, get off that ball. Let's get that ball moving. Rebound that basketball. We're gonna need Mitch Rob to come big against Big Wembanyama. We're gonna need Cat to act like he know where he is on the court on defense. I think Cat can handle him on the boards, but Wembanyama's athletic as hell. He's tall and athletic. Yeah, I know, Guilford. He messed around, found out. And I'm glad he did. I was really upset at how the NBA handled it, though. They suspended Sprewell without pay. He ended up suing and getting some of his money back. Sprewell ain't playing that. You're going to come and disrespect him acting like you his dad. I'm glad he beat your ass. I was like, man, you must be out your mind. Shoot, this is the league. This ain't Seton Hall. Notice he ain't coaching in the league no more unless he's assistant somewhere. Somebody like Carlissimo will get a chance. Somebody like Mark Jackson, right? He won't. And why? All because Mark Jackson don't like the alphabet soup colors. Because Mark Jackson ain't into the alphabet soup colors. They won't give him a shot. You know what I mean? He's not into alphabet soup. Let us rein him in and Howard, don't drop the soap. But you get somebody that speaks against alphabet soup, he ain't gonna get a shot. Yeah, look, I think that was Dolan that brought Sprewell in. See, that's why I like Coach. I like Dolan, man. I don't, listen, he a rich, spoiled white boy, but I like him, man. Yo, and the grill, it's the media, man. The media that's the lobby, that's the media. Listen, if you ever heard, who is it, Master P? Was it Master P? He came out and told you what they do to brothers in Hollywood. You can't get on the screen unless you get done up. And you know what I'm saying. You can't get on the big screen unless you get done up. Once you get done up and you dress like a woman, they'll let you in. Why do you think Jamie Foxx got so big? He was dressing like Wanda. That's why he made his name as Wanda. And then all of a sudden now he could play the Django. Right? That's how it go. Yep. Yes, Lonnie, you know exactly. Lonnie from Brooklyn, he know exactly what's up. Man. So that's what I'm saying. I like having fam. Fam is fam because we all relate. You hear what I mean? We relate. See? All of them. When you can't make it big on the big screen unless you dress up in a dress at some point. You got to put a dress on. They asked Dave Chappelle to do it. He said no. And they made a big deal of him not doing it. Because why? Because we got to get degraded before we get on a platform. You hear what I'm saying? So Mark Jackson wasn't going with the, he wasn't reading that script. He wasn't reading that script. Mark Jackson wasn't reading it. And what happened, the Warriors hired Alphabet Soup in their front office. Mark Jackson didn't like that. Then they got rid of Mark Jackson. See? That AC/DC stuff. Anyway. And listen, people can't help what they're born into. You know what I mean? I had an uncle like that. I think all of us have family members that go through that. But, there's a way to handle it. And it ain't like you got to promote it, though. It ain't proud to be that. Look, Flip Wilson, how many black men in the 70s had their own show? Flip Wilson had his own show. But what did he do? He dressed as a woman. All of them did it. The only one I didn't see do it is Denzel. And I'm not sure. I can't say I've seen all Denzel's work. I seen Denzel when he was young in a movie in the UK. So there's movies that he could have made that did it, and I don't know. But Denzel's the only actor that's big time like that wasn't dressed in the dress at some point. I mean, so they do it to us. Okay. I seen Tony Curtis do it in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and I saw Dustin Hoffman do it in that movie Tootsie, right? But that very rare you see one of them do it. But with us, with the number of us that has done it, it's a lot. It's a lot. Too many. Flip Wilson, Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy. So many, man. Well, Cat's going to have to guard him, John Pettit. Cat's going to have to guard him. Cat's going to have to. I mean, that's as simple as that. Cat's going to have to. Now, there's a strategy to it. So they hopefully have a defensive strategy. What you want to do is keep him away from the basket. Cat is physical enough. They may give him, that's right, Tyler Perry. Anytime I see a movie and Tyler Perry's name is attached to it, I do not watch it. I'm just trying to tell you. I ain't trying to hear it. And there's a vibe to his, there's a vibe to him. There's a vibe to him. Okay. There's a vibe to Tyler Perry. You can feel that there's a vibe. And, this sounds like a Tyler Perry thing. Okay, it is. Okay, no. Yeah, I can't rock with him either. I can't do it, man. Can't do it. He himself dresses as a woman, and he has other people, and it's supposed to be ha ha ha, all that fun, but nah, man, nah, bro. Yeah, right, Cole. Okay. It's almost 1 o'clock, y'all. Let's get ready for this game, though. Let's get ready for this game. Yes, Cat, the answer, John Pettit. Cat's got to be prepared to deal with this boy. Mitch Rob can definitely deal with him. And Luke Cornett, and you can't sleep on Luke Cornett. He done figured out how to get things done. So, but I don't think Luke can handle Mitch Rob on the offensive glass. So we're going to see how this works out. Let's get this game plan. Let's get Knicks. Let's do this thing. It could be Coach Hauser. We got a ways to go before that. Right now, we're just trying to win this game today. Just seeing this game today. But let's get this done. Mr. Brunson, come do your thing. Go off ball. We got to give Kumo D some minutes today. I want to see 20 from Kumo D today. 20 minutes, that is. You give him 20 minutes, we're gonna rule. Let's do this thing. Y'all enjoy it, man. We'll be back tomorrow on the review of this game. Get ready for the next one. Let's hope we get this. Let's hope we take care of business. Please be safe out there. Enjoy your game today. Enjoy your family. Don't use no illegal, illicit drugs and mess yourself up. And life is too short to drink cheap wine. Talk to you all soon. Shalom.